Coach Craig Sports. This is the MLB DFS Core Pick video, Core Pick live stream for today, Monday, April 3rd. Excuse me for the hesitation there, but pretty much what I'll be doing in this video, in this live stream. Typically, if I have a video the day before, I'll go over the recap. Obviously, did not make a video since Friday, but we'll be going through the core picks that I do like for the FanDuel side for the main slate over on for MLB DFS for today. Kind of talking through them. There'll be one pitcher, four hitters, and then kind of taking a look at some of the weather for today's games. At this point in time, does not look like there's any weather that we should be afraid of. So it looks like all games should be good to go, which is a great sign to see, especially early on in the season. And then today I'm going to be throwing on a little bit of Prize Picks at the end. I'll throw up my promo code for anybody that is brand new to Prize Picks. If they want to use that code, get in over there, and then just kind of talk about a couple of plays that do stand out at least right away for me at this point in time. But without further ado, we'll get started with the core picks for today over on the FanDuel side. So we're going to start off at the pitcher position. It is a very interesting slate in terms of pitcher perspective. I think there's a lot of good pay down options today overall. Ultimately ended up on Zach Plesac myself. If you want to go to like a Jose Berrios at $9,000, if you want to go to Ryan Nelson, I believe he's $7,800. If you want to go down to like a Matthew Boyd and take a shot there at $6,600, you can do that as well. A lot of good cheap options today, so we're going to be able to pay up for some bats just in general. But Zach Plesac going against Oakland A's, not the greatest hitting team in the world. He did have a very hit or miss spring, so there is some volatility to this as well. I'd be playing multiple lineups today with multiple different pitchers, especially with those cheaper guys just in general. But Plesac looks like a guy that'll be all right. He is 19 points last year versus Oakland. Not the greatest there. Obviously, we want him to get about twice as much as that. But he does have pretty limited history versus them. They don't have the greatest lineup in the world, so there's quite a bit of opportunity there to be had. Then we move down to our first hitter, which is going to be Jose Abreu at first base. He's $3,300. He is 14 for 36 with 2 home runs with Matthew Boyd in his career. So some pretty good history there. Had a decent spring training. He hit 292 with 2 home runs. Obviously, we can pull up his stats here to talk about the beginning of the year, what he's kind of done in the first series of the year as well, once it does come up here as well. So he does have a hit in every single game. He's had at least 9 points in 3 out of his 4 games. So he's a pretty safe play overall today. Obviously has yet to hit a home run, but maybe he changes that once again today. So we'll go close out of him. Next up is Nolan Gorman. He is 0 for 2 versus Charlie Morton in his career. He's the only hitter I have recommended here so far today that does not have good history versus the pitcher that he's facing, but it is very, very small history at that too as well. He's kind of been that DH for the Cardinals, at least early on, versus right-handed pitching. Charlie Morton's obviously a right-hander. He's on the wrong, end of 30 for his career. He's pushing 40 at this point in time too as well. So not the greatest pitcher. I shouldn't say not the greatest pitcher, but, he's kind of not what he used to be, but he's still a pretty good pitcher given his age and everything else regardless of that. Nolan Gorman had a very strong spring, hit 288 with 4 home runs. He obviously is coming off a monster game. Yeah, I believe that was yesterday with 2 home runs. So definitely a lot of upside there. He is a very cheap price tag as well at $2,500. If you just look at his box score here, we'll look at that real quick since we do have a little bit more recent history to talk about. So he has a hit in all 3 games that he's played in so far this year and at least 9 points in all 3 of those games as well. So a pretty safe play, at least early on, for his price tag as well. And then at third base, we're going to go with Ryan McMahon. You can also play him at second base if you really wanted to do so as well. He's $2,900. He's going against Michael Grove today for the Dodgers. And McMahon is 2 for 3 with 1 home run versus Grove in his career. He's another guy that had a pretty decent spring, hitting 309 with 3 home runs. So definitely do like the upside that Ryan McMahon presents today. A reasonable price tag at $2,900. And then even if we just go back in, look at his recent history too, since we do have that one series, he's got a hit in 3 out of his 4 games, and he's got at least 6 points in 3 out of those 4 games. He has no goose eggs so far on the season, even in that over 4 game. So a guy that looks pretty safe overall. Obviously, he's not quite getting the hits that we like to get out of him so far, but does offer a pretty good amount of upside today versus Michael Grove as well. And then last but not least, probably wouldn't be too much of a video without a big name hitter in here, and this one is going to be Aaron Judge today, $4,500. Obviously, coming off the monster season last year, he's going against the Philadelphia Phillies. Today is Taijuan Walker pitching against him. He is 4 for 11 versus Taijuan Walker in his career. He hit 4 home runs against Walker in his career. So every single hit he has off of Taijuan Walker has been a home run in his career. Obviously, we know what Aaron Judge is. He had 350 in the spring with 2 home runs as well. Don't really need to talk too much about Aaron Judge, but he's had a solid start to the season once again, and we'll just pull that up real quick as well. You can obviously see with the game log so far this year, he's got a hit in every single game, 2 multi-hit games in there, and then he's had at least 15 fantasy points in all 3 games so far this season. So having a very hot start to the year. So definitely somebody that we want to get to exposure to once again. And if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed here, you have $14,400 remaining, $3,600 per player. So a good amount of money remaining to spend. However you want to spend it today, there's some pretty good payoff options out there in the field. So that is something to consider as well. But with that being said, going to close out of this, going to go over to the bottom of my cheat sheet. My cheat sheet is up on YouTube. It's up on Twitter. It's up on Facebook. Probably have to throw it up on patreon.com as well, /Coach Craig Sports over on the Patreon page. So if you guys are interested in that and some more MLB notes just in general, go over there to Patreon, sign up. It's a small monthly donation, but every single day, Monday through Friday, sometimes on the weekends, you're getting MLB DFS notes, going through each pitcher, kind of how they did against the team they're pitching against last season, some notes, whether they have good history versus them, kind of different teams to stack. Obviously, some of the teams to stack come up on my cheat sheet as well, which is obviously free, but just a little bit more in-depth notes in general for each slate. So, and the teams stacked today, the Yankees are going to look pretty good against Taijuan Walker. Obviously, we got Aaron Judge, who has really good history versus them. Giancarlo Stanton has really good history versus him as well. Obviously, I threw Gleyber Torres, who's had a pretty good start this season, in my cheat sheet as well. So a lot of Yankees to target once again today. Looking at Tampa Bay Rays going against Trevor Williams, pretty decent matchup there. Trevor Williams isn't a big strikeout pitcher or anything else like that. Not sure exactly how far he's going to pitch into the game. So pretty good opportunity for the Rays there as well. And then we have the Atlanta Braves going against Jake Woodruff, Woodford. Jake Woodford for the St. Louis Cardinals. He had a pretty good spring, though. Not much history there with the Braves, but do like the Braves hitters and the opportunity against him in general. And then last but not least, we have the Cleveland Guardians going against James Kaprielian of the Oakland A's. Obviously, Kaprielian's a guy that any given start, he can come out and pitch all right, or he could kind of just self-implode. So do like stacking Cleveland a little bit today. If you want to get to some other teams, that's definitely fine as well. I will say with today's slate, not the greatest pitching out there. There's a lot of guys that are a little bit hit or miss. There's a lot of guys that don't have a lot of history versus the hitters. So this is a good slate to kind of mix and match, build a bunch of different lineups and kind of see how it all plays out. But definitely a lot of interesting ways that we can go about approaching the slate just in general. And with that being said, as always, if you guys have any specific questions, always feel free to leave them, whether you're listening live, leaving them in the live chat, or down in the comments if you're watching on replay, and I'll definitely be more than happy to help you. Obviously, primarily focus on FanDuel for the MLB side. If you have any questions that relate to DraftKings, leave them in the comments as well, and I can get to them later on in the day as well. We'll be trying to get as many of these starting lineups out down in the comments as well. But last but not least, kind of the last thing I want to look at here is a little bit of Prize Picks. So I'm going to throw up the promo code here on my banner. So if you use this code when you first sign up to Prize Picks, you're going to 100% first match deposit up to $100. Helps you out a little bit, helps me out a little bit as well. And just since we're already on the topic of Prize Picks, not sure that I'm going to do this every day, but since I do have a couple that I looked at least early on today, bringing up Prize Picks here real quick. So if you are not familiar with Prize Picks, it's a parlay building site essentially. As opposed to traditional parlays, you can either do a power play, which means you have to get them all right, or a flex play, which means you have to. So let's say with the flex play, if you play 3 bets and 2 of them hit, you still make a profit. It's just not as good of a margin, but if all 3 hit, then you obviously make a little bigger profit as well. You can mix and match different sports. So if you want to put NBA and MLB together, if you want to put MLB and NHL together, if you want to put MLB and XFL together, you can do that. Any other sport, they got esports on there. They got pretty much everything sport that you would want to bet on Prize Picks as well. Obviously, you have to make sure that it is legal in your betting state, but if you try to sign up, it'll definitely let you know that as well. So the ones that I do like, at least early on for Prize Picks today, we have Aaron Judge over 1.5 total bases. He has hit that all 3 games so far this season. He's going against Taijuan Walker. He's 4 for 11 versus Taijuan Walker in his career, and all 4 of those are home runs. So if he hits a home run, it's a double. He's easily going over the total bases for today. And he's a pretty safe bet to do that. He was a guy that averaged over 2 total bases per game last season as well. So pretty safe play there. Going to look pretty good more times than not. Then our other one that I do have here at this point in time is Nolan Gorman. He's out over 0.5 total bases. He's done it all 3 games so far this season. Going against Charlie Morton, obviously he's 0 for 2 versus Minisker, but very, very limited sample size there at that. So definitely do like those 2 to start off if you want. Obviously, both these are the over. So you'll see here, we'll just say that we're doing $5 on this. So this automatically makes it a power play for those not familiar with Prize Picks already, which means if both these hit, you get 3 times your money back. If you were to add a third one, and kind of the third one that I like the best so far, at least. So I've been looking at Ryan Nelson over 4 strikeouts. So I'm just going to show this here. So we're going to do more. We're just going to do the $5 again. If we're doing the power play, if all 3 of these would hit, then we get $25. But if we go over here, we check mark the flex play. If you get 2 out of 3 right, it pays 1.25. And if you get 2 out of 3 right, you get 2.25. So if we were to get all 3 right at $5, we win $11.25. If we just get the 2 right at the $5, it'd be $6.25 that we'd be getting back, and then so on and so forth, just depending on your initial wager. I want to bring up, I was in the process of bringing up Ryan Nelson's game logs against San Diego last year. He had 1 good start versus them and 1 bad start versus them. He's a guy that has a lot of upside. He when you're talking about strikeouts, he's only pitched 18 or in third innings in his career. He's got 16 strikeouts. So I do like this 4 number quite a bit. He's a guy that had an okay spring as well, or a decent spring, I think, as we speak still. So let me bring this up real quick. So we had the spring training stats this year. It was a little bit rougher spring training for him, but obviously he was giving up some hits there. So let me go back to last year. I just want to look at these game logs real quick versus San Diego last year, because I know he had the 1 really good start versus San Diego last year and the 1 not as great start. So I'm going to share this page as we get talking as well. So let me bring this up real quick. So we got Ryan Nelson here, logs from last season. So on it down, obviously he only made 3 starts last year. So the very first start that he made was the Padres. He went 7 innings, struck out 7, only 4 hits, no earned runs. Then he went against the Dodgers after that. He pitched 6 innings. He got 6 strikeouts, no earned runs. And then the last start against the Padres, 5 1/3, he struck out 3, and then that was kind of his bad start. So if we get the better starts out of him over the 4 strikeouts, then I look pretty good. So that's kind of the one that I do like as the third one. If you don't like that one as your third one for Prize Picks today, you can obviously pick a different one as well. But with that, that's pretty much what I have in terms of MLB DFS Core Picks for FanDuel for today for the main slate. If you guys do have any additional questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to, I will also be posting the starting lineups down there as the day moves along, as I kind of get those out. And then if there's any updates that do happen to the core throughout the day, like somebody's not starting, I'll post an update down there as well. But with that being said, that's really what I have in terms of core picks for today. Obviously, if you found that Prize Pick content useful, be sure to give this video a thumbs up as well as the core picks. If there's anything else that you probably like somebody else better as a core pick, if you like somebody else better on Prize Picks, if you got any specific questions for that, feel free to leave it down in the comments as well. Definitely do appreciate everybody that is taking the time out of their day to tune in for this video. If it's your very first time checking out the channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, where, the goal here is to help you with DFS. Right now it's MLB DFS. We've got some XFL DFS going on. It is the last week of the NBA DFS season. There's no NBA games today. I think at this point in time, just in the interest of time, I'm probably not going to put out NBA DFS for this week. It's just going to mainly be focused on MLB and then the XFL content throughout the week as well. Probably be doing the XFL recap video tomorrow, and then kind of my regular picks video on Friday as well. We have USFL DFS coming up pretty soon as well. Also, be sure to check out my Twitter at Coach Craig Sport for some Prize Pick content here and there as well. I'll try to include a little bit of that for these MLB DFS Core Pick videos, but just kind of depends on the day and kind of when we do get those lines coming out as well. But with that being said, if you are brand new to the channel, but with that being said, if you are a brand new subscriber or have already subscribed and have not hit that notification bell down below, be sure to hit that so you never miss out anytime that I do put up more content as well, whether it's a live stream or a pre-recorded video. Also got some NFL draft prospect videos up on the channel as well. So definitely be sure to check those out. Talked with a lot of great guys so far, and hopefully doing some more in the near future as well. But with that being said, that's really all I have for today's video, for today's live stream. Once again, do appreciate everybody that did take the time out of their day to tune in, whether you're watching live or on replay. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope that each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.